He's a phenomenal control player.
First, I said it first today.
Hello. Thank you, Arzik, for the sub. Arena is like 4 years old and it is still riddled with bugs and crashes frequently. Has not even been my experience, although I haven't played in a while. It was not the bugs. It was other things.
He's a phenomenal control player.
4 months of glory.
Thank you. I was thought you were back to Elementals, got scammed, thought you were back to Noodle. No Noodle. Because it just, like, Yorion just makes your deck worse, right? So... So why play it? Didn't I have mana issues without Abundant? Not really. Off of Nissa is pretty big at making the Planeswalkers castable, and then every other card is an Elemental. Only weird card, mana-wise, is Prismatic Ending with in a Cavern deck. That's a little bit bad, but... Off of Nissa actually pretty good. Both making this consistent, etc. That said, I played 9 matches yesterday and I went 4-5, so... Zeg is far from... ideal, and the type of problems that it runs into is the same problems that it runs into every time, which is that many strategies, it's a passive deck against every strategy, so some people just kill you. Please add me back to sub Discord. Well, maybe just check the sub Discord, bro, and then say more stuff, as you should already be there. Muldrifter are good in 60 cards. Whenever I don't have Muldrifter, I don't have stuff that's a bit extra in this deck. I feel like I have too little value in this deck, so I keep adding Muldrifter. It's interesting how Cyborg might be harder to cast as a result of being a Cavern deck. Yeah, Dovin's Veto is a bit of a weird jump one, but then the rest of my cards don't really cost mana. It's not quite. I'm playing the prelim in 35 minutes, but in the meantime, let's look at the deck list because I didn't look at the deck lists earlier. Also, after I beat... After in the Pioneer Challenge on Sunday, I have defeated Doomwake on my way to top 8ing the 8-round Pioneer Challenge. He started crying online about how he's extremely unlucky for keeping losing to Boros Heroic. And we're going to be playing a decisive gift sub battle today in the evening when he starts his stream, which is gonna be... It's 12 hours from now, so it's like na 23:30 jakoś tak. We'll play best of 3 matches with the loser gifting 20 subs to the winner of my challenge my challenge heroic versus his challenge red black. I don't think I can look up his list here because, well, that's the case, but that means there's going to be 2 streams today. I guess with the one short one in the evening. Has Murktide grown too strong, or is it just extremely popular? It is extremely popular because it is extremely solid. What if he claims that it does not have overwhelming results? This is Bengucci rapping, yeah, because Bengucci speaks in Italian, so true. Midrange should never lose to aggro creature decks, yeah. On top of that, it is also midrange that doesn't really have great removal. The sacrifice, Ragdoll's midrange. Okay, here's one. So that's what, 4 push 3 Dreadbore? Is this a modern list? It is a pioneer list. So say, and like Bone Crusher, which is kinda not really. Stomp is not too good in the matchup. So it's not like it has tons of removal, it has like few, which means that the creatures just kinda attack you and you kinda try to block them with the Fable. So I don't see why the matchup would be supposed to be so lopsided. Let's see, Spirits, Bun Spirits winning. Bun Spirits is amongst one of the most boring deck templates I could imagine. 33 creatures. They all fly, so your opponent can't even block them, so you just like don't even care about that. They all have flash, so you don't even have to play at sorcery speed. Yeah, that's not quite true, but I mean, I guess it's not really boring that it is this way, but Katilda, Dawnheart Martyr. But there is something boring about spirits to me, Chad. Do you consider spirits boring? Second place, Absent Greasefang with Greasefang Yakisoba boss. Times 4. Just a stock list. Less boring than Bernard Tron or Mail. No, I mean, maybe gameplay wise less boring. It's not too boring to play against, but looking at the deck list is boring, I'd say. Rather. Which I'm not sure if it's something that makes sense. Free duress. People play lots of duress in this Greasefang deck and they seem to have decent results with that. It does kind of make sense to have plenty of duress, so that you can duress away your opponent's removal for a Greasefang always. Mono Blue Spirits is a lot more interesting than Bonds. Yeah, maybe. Darius 8-9, we lost to this gamer. Was a bit of a tough matchup, felt like, for Heroic. Whereas Agra is pretty cheap on paper, it is, yeah. It's like 70 tickets. 83 tickets. My build is 171 tickets. Why is it so expensive? What they add? Reckless Rage, $24. What the hell? Oh, we have the Bugbear 58 tickets, yeah. What else? And one unlicensed hair is 40 tickets. Okay, and this player is not playing those. This player is not playing those, so the reckless is 100 tickets cheaper. Makes sense. Laguna Ventral Blazer. One Spikefield, one Sajiri Letter. Yeah, makes sense. Do I want to check out your Absent Reanimator Coco Spirit Stick? I went one to the film last year. Those sound kinda interesting. Can send the link. I'll take a look. No, wait few months. Is this like actually any good? 8, oh wow. 2 wedding announcement. Wedding announcement in Italia deck. Bit of a scary thing. Guess playing for Adeline would be kinda tough when she's legendary. Wonder if you do better in the red-black matchup because you don't run any Adanta Vanguard. Maybe. I mean, maybe that's a secret. I never played because it seemed weak to me. With no lifelink. If there was lifelink in this deck on something, I would maybe like it, but the life is very finite. There is Control by Bob the Dog.
He's a phenomenal control player.
Heptagon 24 is gifting 7 tier
He's
1
a
subs to the
phenomenal
community.
control player.
For which the community is actually very...
He's a phenomenal control player.
Grateful. Thank you very much.
He's a phenomenal control player.
Where is all is it Phoenix? Well, here, for example.
He's a phenomenal control player.
What do I think of the creativity decks at the moment?
He's a phenomenal
Are you asking
control
about
player.
modern or pioneer? If you're asking about modern, then I have to say
He's a
they're
phenomenal
better than
control
I
player.
always shit talk them. Both creativity into Argon and the Fable are actually decent cards in the deck, so it seems like it makes sense, and they're actually pretty formidable in fair matchups now. Still cringe whenever I see the mana base, the amount of pain taken whenever facing something that pressures your life total, and I don't think of them super highly, but they're certainly a playable deck. And when their base plan matches up decently against yours, it's a little bit hard to sideboard in effective cards against them. What did you use to creativity into before MH2? So I don't even remember that happening. So Velomakus creativity before MH2? I think that was only after MH2. Strixhaven was right before MH2. Emrakul without haste, I actually am not a fan. It's kinda weak. Tenth place under Boros. That's why we played Mass Hysteria or Footfall Crater, then this deck was not based, friend. I'm sorry. I'm about to come into Pioneer hot with the Citadel and smoke some biscuits. What do you mean? Bolas' Citadel? The big bad thing about creativity is the shit mana base, and that is a hefty cost. That's being paid, like a really hefty one. How bad your mana base is. A bond deck. Reflector Mage, Werewolf, Pack Leader. Experiment 1, Hopeful Initiate. Extraction Specialist, Adeline. It is interesting how strong Adeline turned out to be. She even shows up in Modern. She's kind of a mainstay of the white attacking decks. I mean, she's pretty bad in Modern, but still survives bolts. But in Pioneer, she's a very formidable threat. Why is Graveyard Trespasser like 30 ticks? Well, supply and demand, I don't know. Is it Phoenix with one Ledger Shredder, 4 thing, random spells, Castle's Fury, but you only have thing in the ice, sacrifice? 1 Crackling Drake, 2 Hullbreaker Horror. Interesting. It's kind of like Goblin Rebel Master with 4 toughness and human synergies. That is true, yeah, I guess it is true. I guess she is like a 4 toughness Goblin Rebel Master with vigilance, that's true.
He's a phenomenal control player.
When you put it this way, it makes more sense that she's so playable. Blister pod. Karen. New Karen for Citadel and Google Texas. Thank you, Hichotek, for your sub. Only cooldown will to sacrifice the what is it? Nexus. I'm surprised that humans are not playing Mantis. Mantis is fine, but you want to be splashing. If you don't put any red cards, red sources, you have 7, 8 sources for it, right? Free Citadel if we got Karn. Well, 3 Karn and 3 Citadel here and 1 here. There's a lot of Citadel. Deadly Dispute speeds up the Citadel nicely. Actually, Deadly Dispute, Blister Pod Deadly Dispute is kinda based for ramping into Citadel. New ways to gain life. Prosperous Innkeeper. Well, then you are splashing if you're playing Inspiring Vantage, right? This list is playing 7 lands, so it would need to... This list is playing 8 sources for mana, so it probably would need to play 2 more. I'm not saying this necessarily bad to play Mantis Rider, but I think it is also not a clear thing that you need one. I think the experiment one hopefully initiates pretty nice too. This thing is kind of based. How many company sources are there in the deck? Raz, dwa, 6, 7, 8. There's 12 company sources, so you know. It's also not free to splash red on top of that, I think. Going to download this deck as it seems interesting. Ooh, I even own blister pots based. I mean, maybe Mantis Rider is indeed the way. If you think that is the case and you play, then we can play it regardless of what other people are doing. Because of course it is true, as you point out in Pioneer, that people might be copy-pasting and not thinking about much stuff, which used to be the case often. The inertia is pretty strong. I have a character on Pathway. Need triple black for the Citadel. Did you play with 8 1-drops in the deck? Because that might also help with the fastness issues. There's lots of effects in this wish board. I don't know what's Ember Shieldbreaker for. Someone would have Cage. Fortunately, Cage is not really played. Ban Spirits again. Shieldbreaker probably would be better than Abrade, yeah. As nice, Vital Force and Nicol Bolas for Kiora for the extreme capabilities of comboing off. New card. Haven't seen this one. 1 mana, 1/1. Flying. Is the Nexus mono green better? Not necessarily. One mana that turns into an aura instead of the guy that draws for 4 mana might actually make sense. How has Heroic been so far for me? It's been quite good. Kinda spooky. Val didn't know what the Silent Geist was offering, but she knew it would be rude to refuse. You just need to fill the last 2 cards. Oh, I thought they don't play Spectra Sailor. Okay, they just played 2 more. I think someday I would want to try more 1-drops in the Boros deck. Because I think you could only play Virtuosa as your 2-drop and then have 4 Monastery Swift Spear or Luminancer, Clever Lumimancer, maybe some Skullscar Mage. I think maybe not even 4 Hoplite because that card sucks to draw multiples of. Yeah, I don't want to be playing more heroic creatures. I want to be playing more prowess creatures in this. I want to try playing more prowess creatures because they actually... It only makes... You only benefit from having one heroic monster on the battlefield at any time. But you benefit from prowess and magecraft creatures regardless. So you can play like eight targeted creatures, so like 4 Virtuoso, 2 Legionnaire, 2 Hoplite, and then the rest would be Prowessers. So that you can actually build whiteboards too and play better against removal. But heroic counters stay while prowess doesn't. Yes, which is why I would still play the heroic monsters, right? The real draw to this deck is this. The real reason to play it is this. It's an insanely powerful threat when it sticks that just kills quickly. Especially against decks that don't have removal for it. And then against people who have removal, you just would want something... You would benefit from being able to spread the power around across a few monsters. What deck would I play in an RCQ, Modern, and Pioneer? I'll play a deck that I am experienced with playing. Probably. If I had to go to an RCQ this minute, I would grab my Living End deck. And I would go with the Living End deck. Voice of Resurgence, that's interesting. Against Counter Magic, Interaction. It's not so good with Can't Stay Away because it gets exiled once it returns, so that's a little bit of a anti-interaction. Może chcesz spis? No dawaj, Ocean. Is Blue Red a good choice for Modern at the moment? Definitely, it's a great choice. And it's gonna remain such. It's a baseline, incredibly powerful deck. Body Christ. Yeah. A deckless from Johnstar should be solid. As much as the individual himself can be unhinged. Asset Caryatid, Body of the Research, Burn Down the House, Thud, and Castle's Fury. Okay, big score to ramp. Take a turn to Caryatid, turn 3 big score. Turn 4 Body of Research and Thud. You only have 3 bodies, that's kinda weird, I think. Corsair sideboard is for, I assume, grindy matchups. I mean, it looks kinda interesting. You do some stuff. This card being GGG, UUU, and then sideboarding to Nifmizzet Parun, UUU, RRR. It's a little bit tough, but... I would maybe consider more of the big scores, or like some small ramp. You have Growth Spiral. Thud. Don't you lose to Dovin's Veto? Well, you can not cast the Thud and you have a big creature which is gonna die to removal. But it does seem like a weak deck versus Dovin's Veto. That's definitely would be nice to have some alternative plans against control in the sideboard. Mono White Humans w żobu seks. Co zajmie w ogóle? Na modo. W żobu seks. Do I think Living Ends a better choice than Grixis or Blue-Red? I don't know. It is a pretty impossible thing to determine. Might rely on your powerfulness level with Blue-Red Grixis TBH. But I also think they're pretty similar in 2 bolas. 4 bolas in mono green win, bros. Have you seen the modern deck Mango play this morning? Yes, I have seen the deck before. It is a deck for sure. I should try the sack deck at some point a little bit. Hidden Strings. Ja pierdolę, ale wiersam. I think Living End's skill is underrated. It may be underrated, but it's also... I think the fail rate games are a bit more common in Living End than in Blue-Red. Carve Modern when? I probably will never play that deck. Preliminary 5 seconds window. Have I tried the Lotus deck? I have played it in the past. Golgari midrange, Obosh, nice. Vivian Vraskaler, Gargarov, Tyrus Dragon, 2 old Rootstein. Blue-Red is just so consistent. It is. It does have many cantrips, so it finds the cards. Davriel, Rogue, Shadow Mage. Deals 2 damage, so it is not life loss from Davriel, so it does double with Obosh based. Gonna play our prelim round. Now. Show Kaheera. Keep this. Monkey. Always monkey, bros.
He's a phenomenal control player.
If you can't deal with a 2-1 creature on turn 1, it is your fault. Sure, I'll exile a card from my hand to kill your Agavan. It's my fault. Bije się w piersi, no. Should have been able to answer it. Dash Ragavan will be fine because then likely my Ren resolves and I don't have a Ragavan play. Imagine this game if I was on the play though. Turns out, only thing that matters in Magic is to go first. On the draw I can't win, on the play I would be close, could lose still. Going first is all that matters, exactly. No other meaningful things. Ooh, discard Ragavan. Shit. Going to draw a land? No, Omnath. Let's go, Muldrifter. Nice. Okay, I can't win. Don't even have Cavern to pretend. Interesting. Let's check the die roll. I rolled a 4, but my opponent rolled a 5. Okay, good enough played around it. Oh, they draw. Let's play Omnath, get it killed for 1 mana, and die. Let's go. Now I'm going to be on the play, so I'm no longer afraid. There's DCR in the deck. I don't really like Endurance because it's weak to Blood Moon too. Actually, maybe I don't know. Maybe I like it over Muldrifter. Let's go. I guess to always concede if you're on the play, but if you concede you lose, so I don't want to lose. Why we reject Yorion from this deck? I wanted to retry Kaheera Elementals with the new things that I didn't have back then when I played them. I don't play Yorion because I don't play Yorion. But it's like, not that I reject Yorion from this deck, I don't play Yorion. But I wanted to play this deck. Unrelated to each other. Unless you do think Foghold's the most boring deck in Modern, smiley face sticking out tongue. Sure, but I mean... Question is it boring or broken? You just want a playable Urza deck? Well then, tough luck. Why not both? Well, I'm not saying it can be both, but it is unrelated to each other, but we were talking about the first and not the second. I'm just glad we answered the monkey and didn't lose to monkey. My hand would be too slow anyways, I guess. I would not get to the point of casting the Solitudes. But if I was gonna play, they can play Ragavan because I have Ren. I have two daughters, but if I ever accidentally get my wife pregnant again, and it's a boy, I'll name him Piotr. I'm honored, I guess. No Pierce. See, now I win. Play Endurance to prevent Delirium and Murktide. Kind of weird timing because they just play they fetch. I will be delirious too. They bobble to fill Delirium to kill my Ren. Now it's at 7. I play 3 mana 1/1 or snap. I concede the game. By się nie chciało takim deckiem grać bez Juriana. Trzeba kminić, ile jeszcze landów pod fetchami zostało. No nie mam mi dużo mniej landów pod fetchami. Ale skończyły się czasami w sumie ostatnio. Wczoraj. That's not a big difference though. Now on the draw, I can already say GG, bro. As I keep a hand that plays turn to red, like, I can't move this. Well, I don't think I can move this reasonably. WTF, not dead. Why we cut Fury in this matchup? I thought Fury awesome against creature decks. Well, this my opponent's take a creature deck. They play like 12 to 13 creatures and, you know, 20 interaction and draw spells. And Fury is a 5 mana sorcery speed card against there. Against their cheaper creatures. Can easy 2 or 3 for 1 with Fury. No, I can't easily 2 or 3 for 1. Like they have threats that have more toughness. Killing Ragavan needs to be done immediately. You can't wait and fuck around. And it seems pretty obviously poor to me, but so like your opponent plays a Ragavan. They play it on turn 1. It's threatening on turn 1, right? Fury does no good early. Shredder and Murktide are bigger, and you can't even kill those, etc. TRC is 3/3. The only thing that Fury is good at is killing Magus of the Moon and killing Chase. Sometimes. I write this because my UURR friend was smart about Fury. Okay. Well, I think Blue Red is one of the worst matchups for Fury. It's not an unplayable card because it is not an unplayable card in general. Are you gonna bounce? Sure. Oh no, prismatic ending my of Nissa. Funny. I kill your bounce spell. Yeah, there's like little reason to actually excel the off of this, I think, but what's about solituding the Ragavan here? It's kind of weak. But if the monkey, if they keep counterspelling me, if I also play the Omnaths, it's pretty bad, so. One has 2 cards, so I assume the first one gets countered, the second one maybe. Ooh, not even fully countered, nice. Yeah, makes sense because they had the dress down. They don't want to dress down there, so it would make sense. Delirium achieved, but 2 hits in the graveyard. 2 hits spent on the endurance. Endurance actually was good here this game. What are you doing? Steal your off of this, huh? Endurance is so good. I don't think it's always good, but I think it is pretty decent often. Sure. It's fine. Dragon, a bit scary, 6/6. Yeah, so to need to be dragon and counterspell. Although Tawara probably is followed up by counterspell. Unfortunately, I don't have more blue. Ouch. That was painful. I got punished for not having Steam Vents this game. Oh ja pierdolę. Don't have another one. Press a sideboard card. Well, yeah. I should have last turn before it hit me. Well, the Mystical Dispute would have been pretty strong if I could have been able to cast it, so... It's a Steam Vents issue. Well... Okay. Kill the treasure, I guess. That was embarrassing. I think I also might have supposed been to fetch an island instead of a plains earlier in the game. I think I was. I think I misfetched this game. Oh. Well, I guess I die. Impressive loss. Had I not fetched a planes, but in island I wouldn't be able to cast Solitudes, but I think I pitched both. Why you sold the DRC instead of Subtlety? Because DRC is a better card. Well, then plan to plan Prismatic Ending of that Teferi in 5 turns from then. I have Steam Vents over a Breeding Pool. Number 2, I think it's just gonna be better. Because we've been missing that a few times. Let's also check how many sources do I have of turn 1 green. Well, what I lost was that. Go to 13 plus the Tranquil Thicket. So this on the lower end a little bit. I mean, those decks just can't be that good. You look at them, they're trying to patch so many holes. Teferian ending were reasons to sold to the Salad instead of DRC. Well, but DRC surveils, and that seemed fairly relevant too. Also could have settled Solitude at the DRC turn earlier, which maybe would be better too. It's kind of a perfect confluence of unfortunate things, I think, lined up. Some of which I could have played around, and some of which I could have deck built around, and some of which I couldn't. Many people say blue red is bad versus folklore. Do you agree? They do say that, yeah. No, I think the Solitude on DRC, it was an easy decision. I think between this and Subtlety, it was an easy decision to hit. I mean, if I have the ferry, I would prefer to bounce the Subtlety still. It's a 4-mana card for them to replay. Do I agree? Well, I agree that they say that. I don't, as I wrote an entire article about that, right? I don't know if you read it or not, but Is it this one? But I think, well, it explained it in the article that the ball is in Raghavan's dex court and they are slightly unfavored, maybe per the cards, but playing carefully can go a really long way, and the focal player is on the mercy of water draw. More so. They can't be really favored all that much. The other Pioneer Challenge won by Azorius Control. Redeem React Andy. Oh no. Minions. Why are you sending me this? Why are you sending me this? What am I supposed to do with it? I actually dislike Minions Bros. On their humans deck with no Mantis Rider. It's actually the same list. So they do copy paste. Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger for Vivian Arpo Ranger. Optimistic. And one Voracious Hydra. Do they board it in? Who knows? Oh, they have one in the main deck, so I guess they like the Hydra. People love the Hydra. Playing Mono Green online is a miserable experience, by the way. I disagree. Well, I don't know, depends. The losing part or the winning part? I think losing is a little bit sad, but it's not really paper or online relevant. You love the Hydra. It is a weak interaction spell, but it is an interaction spell and it does scale with Nyctus mana. Comboing is miserable, then that is a matter of taste, I think. With the Chain Veil now, it's rather non-problematic. Anyways, I think. Because you can just gain like, I don't know, 20 life. Then go untap your Pestilent Cauldron 3 times with Kiora Mill. Two Nicol Bolas. Lots of the same lists on the both the days. Seems I should just play blue-red. Well, it might be, yeah. It might be that modern is actually legacy. And everything is just coping. Everybody is just coping. Wait, what is this deck? Oh, creativity. And Wordspine Worm. Really? Obnixilis. This is so bad. Why you just creating into Wolfspine Worm? Said like, does that beat people? I mean, I guess 7th place, so that beats at least a few people. The old Obnixilis. There should be Xenagos, yeah, possibly, I guess. Xenagos plus Wolfspine Worm attacks for 30. Set 2 worms. Let's go. Lost the first round to absolute bullshit on my part. Mulligan this piece of crap hand. Please 3 oaths of Nissa based. Sunpop plus Syndec 2 days ago, Glimpse combo. Sunpop is always playing combo decks. I think I'll put back Cavern against him. Yeah, also Yorion. 1 Felda retreat, 1 scampering Scorcher opponent. Mm. 60 cards Glimpse seems like. I have a turn 3 Tereferi. Let's miss on a land now. I would not use a time machine to stop Mara from being born. I think that would be a bad idea. Because then the MPL wouldn't have happened and I wouldn't be a participant in it. Yeah, butter effect, exactly. Too dangerous. Bounce plant. You shouldn't bounce against Glimpse because the only way to deal with Teferi is to use Fury. So you don't want to make your Teferi die to Fury and die to Cascade. Just plus it. Now I'm going to play Reef and play Fury. on their on the Empire's Reef, I think. Titania, yeah. Next turn Titania for a powerful elemental. But I might just play Fury. Forsen. Forsen. That's Power Son. So opponent has to have a Fury this turn again. If they don't, then I plus 30 to 5 again and I can't lose. Oh no, my Titania. Rip. Sonic has Solitude. I didn't want to, but because I wanted to make sure that I can do stuff. Sunken Ruins, Waterloo Grove, 2 Otawara, Fiery Island. I think I would skip Sunken Ruins for a fetch land. What did you get? Or a non the Waterloo Groves. Wait, what's the connection with that? I guess it's the same. Could you describe Blue Red versus End matchup a bit, please? Mm. Yeah. It's favorites for Blue Red. That is because they have Flusterstorm and Living End struggles to beat Flusterstorm. I did play a little bit with Waterloo Grove times 1. It wasn't too bad actually. I did sacrifice it, I think, a few times. It is kind of nice to do it because those Living End inevitably does flat in some games. So actually, I think your idea was not too bad.
He's a phenomenal control player.
There's Glimpse Elementals. My opponent is playing Glimpse. Let's kill. Titania largely unimpressive this game as my fetchlands were shuffled away. I say that 15 months for a perfect moment, right? As he goes for the killing blow, his phenomenal control player skills. Well, then a bit early. Ja w 6, 10, 13, 17 next turn, so now we swing. Tactical dispute against the cavern deck is a little bit weak. I think we don't want that. Endurance is weak. Ephemerate is kinda can be kinda useful. I think it's better than the small removals. Let's have one dispute. Swallow semen. This is weak against good hands. Is it? I think it is. It's the same hand, but oh, it was that game 1, but there's also game 2, so don't rush your horses, as they say. Are my cats? They're very vigorous, joyful, lovely, but also sometimes the worst. So, pretty good. Well, streamer, how's the deck been? I lost my first round versus blue red in a incredible manner. Where I drew 2 disputes I couldn't cast because I only fetched 1 green. Good draw. So it was a little bit embarrassing maybe. I'm so excited to play the Foundation Breaker. Subtlety, I think Omnath is better than that. My opponent didn't even have many permanents, so if they cast Glimpse, they can cast Glimpse with 4 permanents. I think I just want to play my Omnath. Maybe I'll get Subtlety myself. Oh, Dispute. I guess against a Fairy. I like Force Time Walk. Yeah, but then I have no Omnath, so I can have a way to capitalize on the Time Walk. So it's kind of a Time Walk for both of us, right? Although I don't think using Subtlety would be a terrible move here. I could not see anyone. Unlucky games, sure. Maybe it's a deck. I think 25 or so, yeah. I think I played 25 lands and glimpse. It definitely felt like the weak point of the deck. 25, 25, yeah. Where it was just, you know, the variance between drawing and not drawing the lands was kind of high. I prefer new Renard to the old one. No. It looks kinda weird. Cast a dispute because I am dead. Sure. Bro, I actually wanted to cast a dispute. It was a joke, bro, I promise. I don't like the new Ren art too much, but I do like to mix, so that's why I play one. And also like how this looks. Where the borderless just kinda makes it look all fucked. I like how the Fury looks constantly as if it's being selected with the blue border. What's this barely difference in color? You won't see this trend for long though, as it was promised the winner of the NBL Modern Tournament, exactly. So that's why I'm playing while I can. Why no Alt Teferi? Well, that is because I do have Alt Teferi. Yeah, move to 5 game 1, no fair land drop game 2. Yeah, because it's a good matchup, sure, bro. For sure it is a good matchup. If I don't draw Teferi, which I will. So, well. Shattered glass Teferi. I kinda don't like the stained glass. Not even shattered glass, but stained glass. They're not shattered. I mean, I have multiple ways to deal with Teferi. Sure. The list is similar to those that I have saved. And this is not really the case. I guess Saddle-T Passport Dispute a bit better. I think in one you kinda lose to the ferry being resolved. Which is exactly what happened. Which I think is telling. No, daj sobie obciąć. Nie musisz się tak czagać, kotek. Let's continue looking at the deck lists. Mono red aggro. This is small mono red with 3 Goblin Chain Wheeler, which is interesting. What do I think would be the best in no ban modern? My guess would be Hogak. Could be Hogak, could be Eldrazi's, could be Marid H, could be some interactive pile. TBH. With Treasure Cruise, whatnot. You can have tools to interact with people that are pretty strong, and then you just have Treasure Cruise. Just take the Merktide deck and Treasure Cruise. You brewed yesterday, damn. How many decks? Aurelia the World Leader. This is Boros Midrange. This is not to be confused with Heroic deck, it's a bit different. It is a 4 Tyree Temper, 4 Raffin's Informant, 4 Fable of the Mirror Breaker, 2 Nahiri, any other discard outlets. Wow, this is a Madness card too. 2 Archon of Emeria, very nice with Madness cards. What a weird deck. And Aurelia is 6 mana free for Flying Vigilance Haze. When it attacks for the first time each turn, untap all creatures you control and you attack once again. Wow. Where Raja was aloof and untouchable, Aurelia is on the front lines calling for war. Damn. What happened to Raja? Very skimpy outfit. Aurelia dressed herself with more armor. Yeah. She was killed by Zadek, who impaled her with her own sword, though he was enslaved by Agustin Tere at the time. A loophole took her form and posed for her as her for a while, but it was ultimately destroyed by Agruskos and Pivlik. Cool. I can see how Razia did for this armor, yeah. It's plenty of space to impale in an uninterrupted manner. Each player chooses 3 pyramids he or she controls and sacrifices the rest. Only the chosen ones are spared. Damn. Assault Zeppelin. Show them to Raja and then to the Azorius Sky Marshals. We could create a fine bidding war, enough to fund the final stages of Project Karaj. Damn. 4 mana flying, trample, 3/3. This is a bombed limit. I mean, it seems like a good common. Look at this goblin, once wild, untamed, and full of idiocy. The Boros have given him the skill of a soldier and focused his heart with a single cause. Nice. Nice squad, yeah. What is this? How is this guy doing this pose? He looks like he has legs with like no torso. I get that he's supposed to be leaning like the goblin, but it looks so bad. Looks like those like gondola creatures from the memes. I don't know if you're familiar with this. This is the Agruskos, Wojek veteran. When it attacks, attacking red creatures get +2/+0, and attacking white creatures get +0/+2. Insane. That's pretty interesting that they had a "Did you mean" pop out, and then that was also not, I think, true. GRN Guild Kit. Lieutenant Kos has never met a group of recruits he could not inspire or a mob he could not quell. He's a guy. So all that sparked because this person went 11 for the pairing challenge with Aurelia, the war leader. Aurelia seems super ambitious. It does seem a bit weird, but... Oh, for Nahiri, I guess. Yeah, makes kind of sense to have something powerful in the deck to Nahiri. Good point. 2 Murderous Rider and Absent Greasefang. Seems okay, although whatever. at the same time. Ragdos Midrango. I like how they play Shatter School Smashing and 2 Mountains, Sokensan, 2 Den. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 Mountains and Invoke Despair. It's better not to draw 2 Mountains. Also there's Pathways, which we sometimes set on red. The card's not even that good. You will draw Urborg. Hopefully. Hopefully, yeah. 4 color ramp. What's Uberge? Is it 4 color ramp too or yeah, this 4 color ramp too. Ooh, Raska. Still with Nexus build. Still playing Nicolas Bolas. Just restrained. What is restrained? For Blooming Marsh. Ooh, scary. Ugh. The heroic decks are mostly the same cards. I think with the 1-drop revolution could be performed. Shrapnel Blast, Ragdos Sacrifice. I think this deck is cool, but it's not so good. The synthesizer is a very awkward card to play. It is very unlikely to work super well. You're gonna miss cards from it often. Are you going to be live for announcement later? Probably not. 10 a.m. Pacific. Let's see. No, I'm not gonna be on. Check back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Pacific for information about Magic 30, including events, schedules, ticket packages, guests, and more. October 28:30. I mean, I'm not gonna go there anyways, because it's in Vegas, so... RIP to those outside North America, right? For in person, I'm 90% sure. I want to try some leagues. What modern deck should you play? Blue-red, Murktide. Nothing too crazy in the Pioneer challenges, it seems. Unfortunately, the Showcase challenges are not... represented. Murktide region, Murktide region, Murktide region, Murktide region, Murktide region. I'd have loved to have gone, but can do Vegas on 3-4 months notice, lol. How much notice do you need? Then... Actually, I have to check if my passport is... to date. Oh shit, bros, my passport has been recently expired. This year. Good thing I checked. I'll have to probably get a new one then. But Shirani won by Glaves combo. Interesting. 60 cards, Chancellor of the Forge. Chancellor is probably better main the card than whatever else that like Fable of Mirror Breaker. Probably just a better card in the deck. Otawara, nice. I haven't seen Otawara in this deck earlier. Otawara seems pretty based. Congrats to Bill Safe, but I don't love this deck, TBH. What's the purpose of COTF? Well, you revealed from your opening hand you have more pediments for a turn-free glimpse. That's the purpose. Any Yorion decks in this tournament even? 4-color Omnath times 1. 4-color Omnath times 2. Yeah, there is a few. Second place, a Transmogrify deck. 4 Lightning Bolt. Seems like a abnormally high amount of Lightning Bolt for this deck. It feels like it always has less than that. Is it the case or they just play 4 all the time? I think they might just be playing 4 and I didn't know. .9 and 100%, okay. This damn creativity deck beats me each time I meet it, can't win. Yeah, I think it's not terrible now. I hope you played a little bit of Persist in this deck, and I wonder if it's just not good to have. Even you don't even have to have too many Persists. If you, it seems better than Transmogrify to me if you play Prismatic Command Fable anyways. One, 2 copies, stuff like that over the Transmogrify. You play the Blood Crypt anyways in the deck. Took you 5 hours, then. It's a nice journey you've got there, Alexon, and I hope you enjoy your journey in the game of the game you're playing. Tron Arena, Humans, 4th place Humans, with Urza Saga, Yorion. Sure, I mean, it is a deck. Now we're playing in Slava Ridge, the once trophy leader. With a weird Timur Ura reclamation deck. After they removed Ura, he never really recovered. Say grief, I don't know. Oh look, I'm on the play. I would have preferred to have drawn a spell here, but it's fine. I'll play one Ura and Merktide. Well, it's a green card, so it requires a little bit of a commitment, so it's a bit awkward. Oh. Need to double spell to kill the fairy. That is solid. Also, Ura is a Delph card, and you already have a Delph card, so you wouldn't play that, right? Bros, I'm fucking flooding. So badly. We only have 3 cards, so if I draw like 2 Solitudes, we're gonna be fine. Sure. 4 mana Delph card versus 2 mana Delph card. Well, it doesn't matter, you just don't play. There is a cap on how many Delph cards you can play in your deck, and it's 3 or 4. It's consistent through all formats ever. Some Phoenix decks and Pioneer play 5 or even 6, but most play 4 still. And Uro is a reusable one, same with Kroxa. Same reason why you don't play Kroxa and why you don't need more time in Blue-Red and Grixis Shadow, because Kroxa is already there. But it's hacking conniving, bros. Imagine Modern Jund removal staple merchant pools. Imagine, I don't know, Omnath. No, Misty. I'm dead to just Blood Shatters, bro. Shall I cut my cat's nails? Because he was asleep on the table. Which is very nice because it's frequently hard to do. So I have to wait for the brief moments when he goes to sleep and then I can do this. Typically I can only like get 1 or 2 before he wakes up too. I think Kaheera should be a shapeshifter. Honestly, it would make sense mechanically. Then he wakes up with cat nails and he's like, WTF. Yeah. He does feel like that for sure. I should have grabbed Kaheera to pitch instead of just dying to lightning bolt. That's an embarrassing game to lose. This deck is not even particularly good versus Magtail, bro. It's a myth. I mean, I knew it's a same myth. That's why I stopped playing it too. But it is just a myth. Skip into Muldrift, the Titania endurance is uneven. Well of Summer is not even particularly good here actually. Maybe let's have this. On the play well is probably better though. Usually put cast to sleep and neuter them. Yeah, I usually do that quite often. JK. Do I have a timer for when to stand up or just feeling it? I'm just feeling it when I'm like, shit, my back hurts from sitting. I wake up, not wake up, I stand up and stand for a little. Sometimes I forget and then I don't stand up for like 6 hours. So I guess maybe introducing a timer wouldn't be a bad idea. I never did yoga. Whenever I exercise at all, my back doesn't hurt for a period of time, so that in general seems good for the back. Let's go, Ragavan. Oh no, Ragavan. Ren 6 kinda looks like Godric the Grafted from Elden Ring. Somewhat, I mean, those are hands. Not a tree. Do you have any big tourneys coming up? I'm going to Copenhagen, which is, I guess, relatively big, but that's, I think, it. And then the next is gonna be Sofia in November. Canister is being attacked by Ragov and Nimble Pilferer. Sure. I've not bought a single. I have not bought the pass for Copenhagen yet. But we better do Fetch Island. Not Paris. Well, we'll see with Paris. Sure. I say sure, but I also say to myself, Monka S. Open missile and drop. No, it was turn 3 Jace. That's why they did pitched the monkey. I wanted to play the main event in Copenhagen. So I'll buy the main event package, I guess. But I got Delirium so they can kill my Planeswalker now. Legacy events equals Pepija, that is true. Very nice emote. With what deck? Not the undecided. I think I might have been supposed to minus Jason nothing last turn. As a 60 land variant last deck going for you so far. It is not a 60 land deck, it's going medium. I think the card Risen Reef is just a little bit weak of a card. It's no going around that, it kinda sucks. The draw to playing Risen Reef is to play Cavern of Souls, so you want to have, you know, the elementals to justify the Cavern of Souls. Maybe you can play Cavern of Souls with different card advantage rather than Risen Reef, but I don't know what one. What's the main difference between 60 card elementals and Yorion version? The frequency at which you draw red and 6. On turn 2 and Teferi to follow up with afterwards, which is the only games ever this deck wins. The 60 card elementals decks suck. I think the card Risen Reef is bad. Well, I am winning this game, yeah. But the Risen Reef, like, I didn't have time to deploy it. It's not a good one. In fact, it seems like I'm winning because I had time to deploy my other cards that were not Risen Reef. And I had a turn to rent and free Teferi, right? And then like Omnath, etc. Why isn't rent 6 an elemental when it is clearly a 3-man? Damn. Good point. So, this card is not good against opponents with Ren 6. It's not a good deal at 3 mana against opponents like this. So I think it does overall kinda hold the deck down. 5-5 dragon, raz, dwa, trzy. If you manage to play it, it's so good. Not really. So 80 cards elementals to have less Risen Reef. Yeah, it seems like. But it is not a good iteration deck either. So that's a little bit on of a problem too. Suddenly not even winning that hard this game. Let's go. Jak będzie Sharon rotuje. We do gain 6 life back with the attackers, which is very good. Maybe I'll kill Ren. Whoa, not attacking. Okay, not losing. Well, I make a good point. Right now I'm gonna evoke this. evoke this. Always funny. Every time. Okay, Reef was, well, was kinda good this game, but so I guess that was acceptable, but oftentimes it isn't. Is it an acceptable reason to play this version because you don't want to shuffle 80 cards? Sure. They have a removal algorithm spent here than on the Omnath. Also need to connive away a spell, which is not a given too, so. Has 60 card been solved? Is Kaheera maximum? I don't know what you're trying to say. Oops, I gave them a connive. Conniving away a Shredder, damn. Cztery, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's shock. One island left. Ouch. Take Kaheera. Now I want to have mana for my bolt and summer, Well of Summer. Don't seem to have more fetchables in my deck. think the Ren Tranquil Thicket was actually pretty good this game, pretty relevant. It often isn't quite. Or the Ren in those games can be underwhelming, but the cycling, I think it actually made a difference potentially. Hello, Mr. Streamer. Hello, Mr. Viewer. Any creature decks in the chat, regardless of what that would mean, entail. Careful to not deck yourself, lol. I'm pretty careful. Do you think this deck should maximize black so you can maximize your prismatic ending to kill a potential 5 mana Teferi? I think it is absolutely unnecessary to do such a thing. The fact that blue red is still slightly in this game is amazing. It is, yeah. It's got the wells on the draw or cringing and sucking. I think I have already cast Endurance that game. Is this all modern has become 4 color versus blue red? No. It's blue red and 4 color is not like the same. So I think in 60 card version of 4 color control you should cut Risen Reef down to 3 since you said Reef has been the weakest card. No. I think you need card advantage to be able to win. The deck I'm playing right now is an Elementals deck. It needs card advantage to be able to win because it is passive and it needs to take the controlling route every game. It is possible, like the main draw to playing Elementals is access to Cavern of Souls, which it can be quite good to Cavern of Souls your Omnath, right? To guarantee that it draws a card, etc. And Reef, so that you have, card advantage sources that can work through Counterspell. But you need some card advantage in a deck for a deck to function as a control deck, but Expressive Iteration does not allow you to play Cavern of Souls whatsoever. It is not a good combo. So that is a problem. Therefore, it is a tough thing. And there is also other matchups than Blue Red to contend with. So I think my solution to that problem would be not to play Blue Red, not to play Elementals too much. I just wanted to retry the deck after not playing with it for a long time. Tips for the mirror. Play Bren on turn 2. I think. Why'd they go back to Dragon Rage's Channeler? Because that card was always excellent. So the people just play it like because it is not in vogue to cut all of them anymore. It's an excellent card that it is fine not to play and has downsides, but for the most part it's just a very high quality card that puts pressure and fixes your draws. Can be exploited but by some graveyard hates, but it is also better to have. You're more consistent playing a 1-drop when you play more than 4. Let's go Blood Moon. No, Regent. Shit. Can't play Omnath. Oh. Sucks. Good debating us to play this deck, so you retire it immediately. I mean, me playing a deck is not an endorsement about the deck. No, it's not equal with saying deck is the best thing ever. It is equal with me saying, damn, I wonder about this deck, let me play it. It's gonna die this game. I guess I was truly on the draw. And I played Risen Reeves and it was horrible. Maybe should have pitched an Omnath instead of a Solitude, but I didn't have the second Omnath back then, so I think it was mostly unfortunate. But I actually lost to 2 blue reds, so it seems like this deck is not performing super well in the role I wanted it to be. Maybe some creativity content later. There is not gonna be much content later today, after this prelim. Because I'll be finishing the stream relatively early today, so I can return in 10 hours to battle against Doomwake. Because we are going to play. Doomwake challenged me to a money match. He thinks that Red Rakdos midrange is the best deck ever at beating Heroic. And I'm like, sure bro, like your deck has infinite free drops at sorcery speed and 7 removal spells, 3 of which are Dreadbores that are relevant. So best out of 3 matches. 11. Okay, 11. I guess another sorcery speed cat in your deck. In 60 cards off better than Utopia. The reason why I'm playing off of this. Okay, let me talk about this deck to like clarify the few questions that reappear in the chat. This deck is built around the idea that Cavern of Souls is powerful and is going to beat Blue-Red Murktide if you have powerful cards to cast through it. The obvious powerful card is Omnath, Locus of Creation. That card is good and it is worth playing for sure. Then you play Solitude alongside it as your removal. This is good to play with Cavern too. But you can't really build around. You can't really play a Cavern mana base while having just a few elementals in your deck. So you go deeper on the elemental theme and you play the Reefers, right? For the elemental tribal and some random elemental boys and girls. But you also do want to be playing the powerful Planeswalkers. Ren and Teferi are seemingly the high win rate cards when you play them on curve. So, if you want to play them on curve, you need to have mana for them. And Cavern of Souls clashes pretty badly with both Ren and Teferi. And this is where Oath of Nissa enters. Oath of Nissa fixes your mana for your planeswalkers so that you can go Forest, Cavern, and play Ren, and don't worry. And that is the goal and purpose of this deck. Now, in practice, I just got defeated by the two blue-red players in the prelim. Pretty soundly, TBH. Well, I guess one of the matches I could have won if with better play and more insight into the mana base. But that is the premise, and like the premise is not that successful at doing the thing. And then there is also other matchups in blue-red. I think this deck should be favored. Well, I don't know. Should be favored against blue-red even, but even if it is, okay, let's say it this way. Even if it is favored against blue-red, it is favored by a small margin that is not worth it over how many less favored matchups are there. Be that, I don't know, creativity or potentially even the Yorion variants of the deck, etc., right? How is blue-red versus Yawgmoth? It's probably close. The gap between 4-color Yorion and blue-red is probably a bit bigger. What do you mean? Think that 4-color Yorion is better against blue-red than this deck is against blue-red? Is that what you mean? What if you draw Ren 6 and Cavern but no Oath of Nissa? Then hopefully you draw a third land. Well, the regular 4-color decks are also... I'm not really all that good against blue-red. The only actually good card versus blue-red is Iceland Coatl, if you can achieve Death Touch. And Iceland Coatl is not supportable with Cavern of Souls and Elementals. If Iceland Coatl was an Elemental, and you could just swap Reefs for this, that would be... I guess you would play both then, but I guess you would swap those. And like something else. So like the thing is that the plan of casting Risen Reef and Omnath with Cavern against blue-red is unreliable because you don't always draw Cavern. And then even if you draw Cavern, this is an extremely lackluster play if you fail to remove creatures that they have played beforehand. As we've seen in the game that we just played a few minutes ago, where my opponent, I play Reef for free, I draw, I'm up on cards, but I'm down on life points, and I die. At the same time, I also do put Muldrifter in my deck, so maybe I am setting myself for failure. So you're telling us to just play Amulet Titan instead. I think Amulet Titan cannot construct a plan that is particularly great at beating blue-red because Blood Moon exists. I think the Krasis plan is solid versus them, but only up until the point where they Blood Moon you and you die anyways. I do find it surprising that Blue Red has an allegedly only 50% win rate according to Wizards stats tracking of all the games, because every single deck I ever play feels like it is ahead of it. Is Forbos Edge a good plan? Guess what? Today I will do an event with your Amulet Titan list. Thank you a lot, I hope for the best. I don't play Emrakul the Promised End, but the other, what do you think? I think the other Emrakul is too expensive and too bad. I would rather play Ulamog or Kozilek if you don't own the Promised End. If you can get it. I kinda would want for them to minus play the ferry. It's more mana spent. Let's say mediocre player. Good question. Yeah, the spell pierces in this deck, they always blow me out. They're pretty good in this deck. And yeah, I laid out my argument for that being the case in the in Harry article I wrote about those topics. Here comes the Wallspine Worm, hopefully. So this card with Cavern of Souls is good against blue-red if they pass the turns and they don't play any monsters. If they do play monsters, it is actually hard to ever spend mana on a free mana 1/1. And it only cycles. So it is an Elvish Visionary if it gets killed. So bad. Spell pierce that. I have Host Sway, I don't, but I can add any mode you want. Feel like you're often short on mana. I haven't felt like that was the case too much, but it is true that the games where red and 6 is in play go more smoothly than the ones without it. Now let's tie to creativity of X2 or 3. That's a good sign. What's my favorite sleeve to sleeve up my cards, Gani? I don't really have one. I mostly use Dragon Shields because they shuffle well, but not actually that super. Feels like could be something better out there. KMC Hareruya. Truth to be told, I don't love the feel of their shuffle. Guess I can attack my Ren for 4. I have 2 draws for a fetch. Do I have the Haruya yellow sleeves? No, they were before my time. So I never had them. Eight mana Archon, let's go. I mean, I was sponsored by Huel at one time. What's the best way to do this? I think Titania first. They did pay eventually, yeah. Go Titania, return fetch land. Took them like a month and a half more than it was supposed to. Minus 1 draw. How? Thanks, so they don't have tokens for creativity X3. Seems like a poor block. I didn't have mana to play Reef and then Titania. So I needed the Titania trigger to give me lands. Well, I didn't have the mana to Reef before Titania, or I need to crack a fetch, so I lose out on an Elemental, which also draws me cards, so I had to go. The way I did it, I played fetch, then I played Titania, put second fetch into play, triggered Omna's second ability, float 4 mana from the ability, play Reef. But else we're losing to the bullshit Archon summoning anyways, seems like. matchup is not good, bros. Well, I also had to leave the fetches uncracked to get the elemental tokens from Titania with Reef in play, so. X5. What? That's killing my elementals too. Well, let's make sure they have only one Archon entering. I hate the creative deck so much. Why? I get free element. I mean, I don't really have bad creatures in my deck, so. Get Muldrifter, Omnav, and Solitude. Sure. I don't like their play. I think they should have targeted their own 4 things. I don't know what they did. That was so bad. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have creatures that would be like all my creatures have ETB effects, so this is also what are you hoping for? I don't know. And some of them are also solitudes that automatically clear your archons.
He's a phenomenal control player.
Why Archon over Emrakul? Because as an ETB trigger, it's generally better. Cringeavity. I mean, opponent blew this game. Maybe they had maybe they had an extra Archon in hand. The weird thing to do. The one to dispute is a bad counter, but a counter. I think I want the ephemerates for big plays against them. Maybe I need to. F8, thank you for your subscribe. Rather. I should cut one off when I side many non-off targets. That's sensible. I did cut 3 bolts, so I think I left the amount the same. Well, I went -1s. I'll keep them out almost the same. But yeah, also Emrakul just can get answered by a removal spell, be it Solitude or Teferi, and you're left with nothing, so that's kind of bad to Emrakul. Some people have Emrakul on the sideboard, both against Mill as an extra threat against people that actually do die to Emrakul, but it's mostly weak, I think. Taiwan Jatora's Proving Ground is a classic move. Let's go Spell Piece Myren. Or Remand it, even better. Let's go Fable of Mirror Breaker. You probably have Prismatic Command. I think I'd rather develop this in case I go Jace or something, just have it in play. Well, exactly, Emrakul is not really hard to remove because it can be easily removed. So to the Teferi and do Otawara even. And virtually like most decks do lose when you resolve Archon of Cruelty triggers. Jsi nakarmiona bułka? Dobrze, przekonałaś mnie. Mocny argument. Maybe I'm supposed to bounce the treasure token. But I did an F6. So it feels okay to do. Feels like might be the good thing to do. So if they go for creativity here, I can pitch solitudes. At least. Bouncing paid off. Fable. Why do you another Fable? I was so good in that deck. It is pretty good, yeah. The third chapter sucks, but the combination of the third being still a creature, you can still copy Archon. It doesn't even suck that much. Maybe I'll play the creativity deck someday. How does it do against blue red? Is it really bad against blue red? This is a blue spell. We haven't guessed the third chapter anyways, exactly. I've been playing it in paper and blue red is hard. Yeah. Probably fine. You just wait till they cast a creature and you try to go off with spell piece or dispute backup. Well, I mean, that means you have 5 mana. So, like, why wouldn't they have a spell piece backup for their counter spell, right? Kinda unfair to assume. Let's play fetch, have fetch prepared for Omnath. Any hot takes on recent Pioneer stuff? I think red black is not even favored against heroic. Yeah, they play creatures on turn 1 and 2, that also can happen. One thing that I like about this deck is that it actually, it might be too late by that point, but once you like get to your 4th land, you make it worth mine token, Ragavan actually begins to suck. How many games is the money match? It's best out of 3 matches. The money match is today at 23:30 when Doomwake starts the stream. The loser gifts 20 subs to the winner. Wait, the winner? Yeah, the loser gifts. Will you do coverage of NBL? Well, if the tournament comes to fruition, then yes, that is the goal for it. Ja pierdolę, no. Jebane żywiołaki. No, żywiołaki, no właśnie. NBL will be POG. Do you want to take part in that? You're all invited, as long as you sub. You will sing that. That's very nice. Join the Discord and go to the channel. I actually will have to look into all of that stuff because I haven't done much looking yet. I would like to play in it just to get some Hogak on, then join the Discord and join a discussion. And there is a list in the Discord to put your name in, I think. Oh, my recent reef. I was there. It's interesting that they used Prismatic command to kill my Risen Reef while grabbing the land with Ren, but I guess they wanted to filter away the land to find something. Well, they grabbed the land but they didn't play it, right? They turned Wooded Foothills and then Prismari command to loot it away. It actually was a cohesive play. In a way. Pog combination. I tapped all of my green mana for, I think, no reason. Titania is Pog champion. As it kills Ren. Play with Cavern. True, I got excited and I didn't even do that. Actually, because I tapped my mana like an idiot, I will. Hold the level up if they play Archon. Yeah, second Sun is 2 mana now, so it's pretty awesome. Joel's slowest. It is so slow. Fucking Joel's slowest. So funny. Does mana colors matters with open play? Well, off only fixes your mana for planeswalkers, but not for everything else. They can actually upkeep copy the Archon, which is fine for me, I guess. Titania. I think Mono White Hammer time is the best version. No, I don't think that. I think I misplayed a fetch because now I don't have a fetch. Sometimes I don't pay attention to the like tapping of colors and mana of this deck, and it actually does matter. Snapback planes. I might want to actually keep it in the deck. What percentage of decks will register 4 times mental misstep in your opinion? I think some people will forget or will not want to bother, so 50. It's also, it's not good to have mental misstep in a Hogak deck, right? It's no reason. Why would you play it? I think my point is DOB on board. The Titania, honestly, it's not too bad whenever I draw it in this deck, but it is. Risen Reef is not the optimal card advantage source against against blue red. I don't know really what is. I guess iteration is. I don't know, is it an optimal one? Tough. There would be like a 3 mana planeswalker that draws a card. +1 draw a card. I don't know, that's good even. Could this deck be played without caverns? Well, then it's... Well, this deck. Well, you could play 4-color Rent a Fairy Omnath deck with no caverns. Yeah, definitely. There's also the issue of Well of Summer being redundant with Cavern of Souls. Well of Summer is really powerful, but it's kinda in a similar way against Blue Red, where it's not always good when you're getting pounded by the creatures. So, I don't know, bros. This deck is not a solution to Blue Red. It's not even a solution to Blue Red, I think, to watch. I think it's kind of coping to say this. And then there is the other decks that exist in the format. There was a weird Living End deck that top-8'd the Showcase by Rivenage, which I guess the weird thing is that it's playing mana confluences to play the black cards. Hardcast the Architects. Oh, it looks so bad. 2 Arcfeet of Vifnir for Voiker, 2 Shrikmo. The mana confluence is dealing so much pain. It's maybe they're a lifelink monster. There should be at least Sunken Ruin in this deck, TBH. Well, there isn't an obvious swap for Sunken Ruins. But it's... Shigma is interesting, but I don't know if it's actually any good. But the amount of 2 mana cyclers is high. The mana base seems like it's going to deal you 10 damage per game. I think Shigma is not terrible, but just the mana base being 10 damage per game is... Living End already takes so much damage. I guess I'm doing a similar thing if I'm playing Mana Confluence to if I'm playing Waterlogged Grove and Fiery Islet, and that also like Mana Confluence and also takes you more damage. Living fucking End. Damn, last name. Yeah, okay, I hate this. Also, like, I'll play the Arcfiends over Wakers, just not to have too many 2 mana cyclers. If you draw 2, you're not gonna cycle them, and if you waste mana, because you have 2 mana cyclers, you waste mana not cycling, that's a shame. An Arcfiend of Ifnir is fine once it returns, but comparing Confluence to Canopies is rude. Well, they deal you the same amount of damage per game if you draw them in your opening hand. Maybe Mana Confluence deals you more damage if, like, it's more likely to be the lacking source of the color that you want to introduce to, so I guess maybe it's a bit different. Okay, so 2 the prelim. Let's see who followed. Yorion Sky Nomad followed, bros. Guess fucking Tron. Ragavan turned into Fable, damn. Tron plays a card and gets Thomas script. Congrats. Truly a winning move. Charmo. LOL. The Charmo was so good that it even made the Tron player say LOL. So is Savage Tron card on the ban list? Well, there is a non-Savage Eye of Eugene, I guess. Let's bring non-Savage and Tron. It was Savage 10 years ago, but I think it wouldn't even be that Savage anymore. Charmo. 2 Charmos. Nice. GG's. How many dragons inside? Main 1, side 2, main 1, dot dot. Anyone had lethal game 1. How did they have lethal game 1? It's fine, I can read the chat log and like, haha, dragon lol. 2 out of 3 in 50-80, not bad. Pretty salty. Yeah, it is fine that it says that it's me saying, but it was the It was the otakun person. They do not have lethal game 1 though. The Tron player told the Yorion player that they had lethal game 1, but let's watch at it again. Probably meant game 2. Unless the games are swapped, sometimes it happens. Maybe it was game 2. But sometimes the games in the log are swapped and you see like it is game 2, game 1, game 3. So that would make sense they say lol when the dragon is main deck. Let's see what's played. Lava Reach, DMX, 3-1. So Yorion Tron, DMX Tron. Defeating Liliana of the West on Blue Red. On Hammer. What has Maquin Sauce won? I see the beauty of the tension. Nice. Do I like Mono White Hammer? To an extent. Demoing tutors on the shit deck. Maquin Sauce on GLS. Shouldn't have played a second aid maybe. To play around that. The beauty of the tension. What a card. No, I'm not slamming female control player on repeat my headset. In fact, I rarely listen to that song. But, okay, as I said, Kaheera Elementals weak. I outlined exactly why is weak. And I'll actually finish the stream right now. I'll be back in 9 hours to fight Doomwake. So there's gonna be a second stream in the evening. How many page cards for fun if you can cast it normally? It doesn't matter if you're fine casting it normally. Oh, you can't cast it normally, then I don't know. It depends. Alright, see you in the evening, bros. Stay hydrated and we're gonna raid some victim. Pauper MTG Boros Bulligate by Zauper the Red. Why not? Let's watch Zauper. Playing Pauper, probably a fun person. See you in the evening.